Hello, this is literally Majora. You can call me Majora if you want, but my real name is Benny. This is part 2 of my Spooky Dreams mini-series for Halloween, and yes, I'm aware that I sound a little bit different now. As of recording this, I am 2 days post-op of a surgery that involved removing some of my teeth, so yeah, I'm a little spitty for the next, forever? I don't know how long I'm gonna sound like this. I can kind of control it as long as I, keep my mouth as dry as possible, but it still happens a little bit, so if you don't like weird mouth sounds, sorry in advance for all of the S's in this video. If you didn't see last week's video, I talked about more subdued dreams. They were mostly vampire themed, and those ones weren't really like nightmares, but these ones definitely are. The first dream I want to talk about, I am going to call the Hooded Figure Dream. Ooh, spooky Halloween text. So this dream is kind of unique for me, because it was a lucid dream, and I've never purposely practiced lucid dreaming, and I've only had the one, so I don't really know how or why this happened. I just know that in the dream I knew that I was asleep, and the dream took place in my house, in my bed. At the very beginning of my dream, I'm just laying in my bed, and there's something standing next to my bed. It's a dark figure in a hood. I can't quite see them, but I know that they're there, and I know that they're bad. I can't see what's underneath the hood, although the hood was actually kind of pretty. It was dark purple and had this star printed design on it. It was really cool. But on the inside is just complete and total darkness. I try to scream, but I can't, which isn't that uncommon for me, especially in scary dreams. But then I get this weird idea that if I can get my way into my parents' bedroom, I can wake myself up. If I tried to wake them up in the dream, it would somehow wake me up. I don't really know where that came from. I guess it was just kind of like I was gonna be breaking the illusion for myself. I don't know, but that's what I do. I get out of my bed and I run into the living room, which takes forever because it's a dream. You know how running is in dreams, right? Where you feel like you're going super fast and you're moving inches. But I get into the living room and the thing has followed me and it's right behind me, and then there's more light so I can see it. It's just a skeleton underneath the cloak, and it reaches out its skeletal hand, and then I feel 4 fingers touch my left side, right where my rib cage is. Except when that part happened, I was laying in my bed again, and I was awake. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that this thing in my dream was real and that it really touched me, but something did. This next one I'm calling the Pajama Dream. This one's probably the shortest. So, in the dream, I'm in my house with my mom, and apparently there are other people there, but I don't know where any of them are. I don't remember ever seeing any of them, actually. I just remember being in the house with my mom, and she's cooking some sort of big meal. Maybe it's a holiday, or we're just having family over. I don't know. But she tells me that the food is done, and that I need to go find everybody else and bring them to the kitchen to eat. So the first place that I go is to my bedroom. I guess I thought maybe some of my cousins were in there or something. But the only person I see in my bedroom is someone sitting on the floor at the foot of my bed, in between where my TV and my bed are. And they're facing away from me. They're wearing it's my pajamas that they're wearing. And it's this sort of hooded onesie thing that I got as a gag gift from a relative. And I look at them and I can't see anything about them. I can't see their face. I can't even see their hands. And they're facing away from me and all skin is covered. That's important. But I say to them, hey, my mom said it's time for everybody to come eat. and then they lift up their head and turn and look at me, and it's just straight up nothing inside my pajamas. And it shrieked, and then I woke up. Yep, that was pretty unsettling. The next dream is actually one that I mentioned in my last Majora talks. The McDonald's dream. I'm fairly certain that this one is the most recent nightmare that I've had. So I'm sitting at a table in a McDonald's, eating a double quartered pounder with cheese. Plain, might I add. And don't worry, this dream has absolutely nothing to do with tainted food. That I probably wouldn't even be willing to talk about if that happened in a dream, because I'd be like too grossed out. So I'm very much aware of the fact that there are other people in this McDonald's right now, but I can't see any of them. You know how some McDonald's have that like wall in the middle of the restaurant that kind of blocks off the dining room area from where you order? I'm sitting on the other side of that, and all the rest of the people that are customers in the building are on the opposite side from me. I'm gonna go off script for a second to say that I just noticed a recurring theme of being separated from other groups of people in my scary dreams, and I wonder if that's like a thing that like means something. I don't know. Anyway, the only person that I can see at the very beginning of the dream is a girl working behind the counter, and then this guy comes in. He walks up to the counter and he's talking to the girl working there, and I can't hear what they're saying. I don't know if this is like a super important detail, but it does stick out in my mind that I have no image in my brain of what this guy looks like at all. The woman behind the counter, I feel like I could pick her out of a lineup in real life. She was very pretty. She had really long box braids, like down to the middle of her back. She had like, I would say about like Nima Tang's skin tone. If you want to Google a picture of Nima Tang to figure out what that means. She was very dark skinned. And obviously she was wearing a McDonald's uniform. She had on like the little like red visor. I don't know if you had when you were a kid, or like if one of your siblings had the like McDonald's Barbie set, but they had the little like red visor with the McDonald's logo on it and a little red button-up shirt. That's basically what she was wearing. But this guy, I don't remember anything about him. It was almost like he was featureless. Maybe he was white. No, he was definitely white. And maybe he had brown hair, but like, that's it. Oh, also, part of the girl's box braids were purple. Like, it started out like different shades of brown at the top and then ended up purple. That is not important. Anyway, me having a dream about a cute girl is not what this is about at all. So like I said, the guy goes up to the counter and he's talking and I can't hear what he's saying. And I also can't hear the woman at this point. It seems to me like he's just ordering and everything is fine. And then he pulls out a gun and lays it down very gently on the counter. I feel the need to note at this point, for anybody who wants to like, say something bad in the comments about like, this being about gun control or something. I'm not gonna share too much about my own political leanings right now, but I will share that I've had a traumatic experience involving a handgun, and I just don't want to hear your bullshit. Thanks. And B, if some moron tries to make some comment about it being some white dude pulling out a gun, like, what does it matter? Yeah, personally, in my experience, especially the traumatic one, some white dude is kind of more likely to pull out a gun. Seriously. Alright, so back on topic. At this point, I can hear what they're saying. He asks her to empty the register, and she does. That was just like in interest of her safety, I would think. And then he turns around to leave, and he's got all the money, and he's gonna walk out the door, and he turns and he looks at me. And he asks, well, are you gonna call the cops? And me, being the self-preservationist that I am, I say no, because I actually had no plans of calling the cops in this dream. Mind you, this McDonald's is full of people who are just like on the other side of a wall and should be able to hear all of this, and some of them should be able to see it because the wall's not like cutting off the entire front part of the McDonald's. But he focused on me because I was the one that was right there. He made a point of saying, "Okay, I believe you." And then he started to walk out, and I kind of like breathed out a sigh of relief. I'm about to go back to eating my hamburger. And then he shot me in the chest. And in most dreams where I get like fatally wounded, that's it. I just die and I wake up. But for some reason, I just like sat there holding a bullet wound that was bleeding for like a couple minutes before I woke up. And that was a lot. I was really rattled after this dream, and I do think it is actually a direct result of that traumatic experience that I mentioned. Even though no one ended up getting hurt that time, it could have happened, and it's left a really lasting impression on me. So this last dream is actually one that I talked about for like a whole week after I had it. Like, I could not get over the strangeness of this dream. The toe dream. I believe I mentioned this in last week's Majora Talks as well, just because it's so weird. Like, I have no idea where this came from. So in this dream, I'm at the elementary school that I went to for like 5 years. I'm outside, and on one half of the playground, I don't want to call it a swimming pool because that's not quite right. It's this sort of like man-made pond. It's rectangular, it's the shape of a typical swimming pool, but it's just like a hole in the dirt that's filled with water. And there's this game that's gonna take place that we're gonna play in this dirt hole. There are two teams. One is the home team, and that's the team that I'm on, and then there's the away team. And I don't know where in the world my brain came up with this game, but the game involves salami and pepperoni. Basically, each team has their own meat that is sliced up and thrown into the water. So the opposing team is throwing pepperoni, and our team is throwing salami. The goal is to gather up as much of the opposing team's slices as possible to try to win. You have to bring them back to, like, dry land. So we have to get the stuff that they're throwing, and they have to get the stuff that we're throwing. So pepperoni and salami generally look like this image right here. You know, a weird stick of meat that is sliced thinly. But in my weird dream logic, my brain invented canned pepperoni. So it comes in a metal can, like you would eat soup out of, I don't know. And this opposing team bought this canned pepperoni to use for the game, and cut it and left the outside of the can on it, if that makes any sense. So it's like a thin slice of pepperoni with like metal around the edges. So the game starts, I get in the water, and then I feel this intense pain. Usually in a dream when you get hurt, you know, it's not quite realistic. Like, if you pay enough attention, you don't really remember what it feels like. But I remember in vivid detail what this felt like. So, yep, I stepped on a pepperoni and it cut off all of the toes on my right foot. We fished my toes out of the water, and the opposing team was automatically disqualified for attempting to sabotage our team, which they actually successfully did, but it still ended up getting them disqualified. So then I am taken to a doctor where they are going to sew my toes back on, because that's generally what they do if you have a small body part cut off, is they try to sew it back on and hope for the best. But they don't sew it on with like any sort of medical equipment. No, they used a regular household needle and thread. And no anesthetic. Yeah, that also hurt. But I also remember feeling it. Again, I don't know why. That doesn't usually happen with dreams, but oh boy, did I feel it. Also, the doctor was not human. He was a dolphin. Yeah, I have no idea why. That's it for this episode. I hope I didn't freak anybody out with any talk of, cutting off my toes or anything. Next Monday, I'm going to be talking about childhood dreams that have stuck with me for my whole life. And actually, now that I think about it, more than one of them involves my dog, which is really weird. Huh. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks. I sound like Daffy Duck. Thanks for listening. Jeez, I'm so spitty. Bye.